Ladies and gentlemen, you know that when certain publications publicize and write articles on people like William Barr, you know that he is on the right track. Now, this is a great publication. They wrote a very unethical hit piece on me when I was on the left. Barr went to Rome to hear a secret tape from Joseph Mifsud, the professor who helped begin the Russia probe. U.S. Attorney General William Barr traveled to Italy to meet with Italian Secret Service agents and potentially undermine the Mueller investigation. I hope he did. My God. You're talking about Robert Mueller, who didn't know who Glenn Simpson was, who didn't know who Fusion GPS was. Are you kidding me? How do you not know how a dossier was purchased? How do you not know that? How do you start an investigation when the ODNI report is written with a disclaimer saying estimative language consists of two elements: judgments about the likelihood of developments or events occurring and levels of confidence in the sources and analytical reasoning supporting the judgments. Judgments are not intended to imply that we have proof that shows something to be a fact. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, they are being very honest. Mueller should never have investigated with the special counsel if the ODNI and DHS and intelligence community had judgments that are, quote, not intended to imply that we have proof that shows something to be a fact. Then there's the part where the intelligence community is pretty honest. High confidence generally indicates that judgments are based on high-quality information. High confidence in a judgment does not imply that the assessment is a fact or a certainty. Such judgments might be wrong. This is Annex B at the end of the ODNI report that James Clapper compiled with the help of Comey and Brennan and the wonderful community, intelligence community. They fabricated an investigation with smoke and mirrors, all leading to Democrats and Clinton. Why didn't they ask the Republican National Committee to find a tech firm to look at the DNC servers? It's so absurd. It's so absurd. Why didn't they ask President Trump to see if there was a tech firm? Why? Anyway, we can go on forever with that, but here. This is the Daily Beast. Rome, when Attorney General William Barr showed up at the U.S. embassies. Palazzo Margherita on Rome's Tony Via Veneto last week. He had two primary requests. He needed a conference room to meet high-level Italian security agents where he could be sure no one was listening in. And he needed an extra chair for U.S. Attorney John Durham. That's right, baby. Of Connecticut, who would be sitting in his right-hand man. So Barr was in Rome on an under-the-radar mission that was only planned a few days in advance. An official with the embassy confirmed to the Daily Beast that they had to scramble to accommodate Barr's sudden arrival. He had been in Italy before, but not with such a clear motive. Barr and Durham are looking into the events that led to Robert Mueller's Russia investigation, and suddenly all roads were leading to Rome. The Daily Beast has learned that Barr and Durham were especially interested in what the Italian Secret Service knew about Joseph Mifsud, an erstwhile professor from Malta, who had allegedly promised then-candidate Donald Trump's campaign aide George Papadopoulos he would deliver dirt on Hillary Clinton. By the way, Mifsud backtracked, and he told FBI agents in early 2017 that he had never stated that. They literally began an investigation based on gossip and hearsay that the guy who allegedly stated he had dirt on Clinton backtracked and said, no, I never said that. So he said, I never said that. They started an investigation based on that, and he ended up saying, I never said that. Notice how Democrats, why didn't Adam Schiff want Joseph Mifsud and Glenn Simpson and Christopher Steele and Alexander Downer? Why didn't he want them to testify in in House committee hearings. Maybe because if they actually did testify, we would know this was all nonsense. The Italian Justice Ministry public records showed that Mifsud had applied for police protection in Italy. And had given a taped he gave a taped deposition to explain just why people might want him. Durham and Barr listened to the deposition. Ever since Robert Mueller concluded his probe in March 2019, Barr has worked to blunt its impact. What impact? What impact? We have no clue how many Facebook ads swung voters. We have no clue which Facebook ads were effective. We have no clue. Well, we do. Nobody saw any Facebook ads. Nobody saw Facebook ads that prevented them from voting for Clinton. Clinton spent $1.2 billion. She lost. She's running again. And who told you? I know you have to listen to my annoying personality. I know you have to listen to me repeating things. But who told you? Who told you for 2 years? It's one of the biggest political calls in the history of politics. And I'm not trying to, pat myself on the back. But when it happens, people understand that I've been consistently saying that things are going to take place, and people say, "Oh my God, that's lame. The title is wrong. Oh my God, how do you know this is not?" And I say Clinton was going to lose in 2015. I'm not right about everything, but I said in 2015 she's going to lose, and I said that in the Huffington Post, The Hill, and Salon. People said, "No way. It's a clickbait title. No way will she lose," and I was right. I said she was unelectable. I was right. Now, she's unelectable still, but it doesn't matter. She's going to run again in 2024. She'll lose in 2020 to Trump. It'll be a repeat, and she'll take the Democratic Party into the abyss of madness and despair, which will be fantastic. But the Mueller probe was 3 years worth. Mueller investigation and the investigations before that were fabricated. They were one of the most egregious displays of state authority, of the country wielding just its full weight against American citizens who did nothing wrong. Michael Flynn did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. He was indicted on allegedly lying to FBI agents. That's it. And those FBI agents, one of whom was Peter Strzok, of all people. Anyway, the vice is slowly closing in. It took a long time in Boston. It took years and years in Boston for John Durham to get corrupt FBI officials in prison. So it's going to take longer than this election, people. But the ball is rolling, and you have at least Andrew McCabe being indicted soon. That is something I said was going to happen. But anyway, according to the complaint, Barr was directly involved in the president's attempt to solicit information from a foreign country in the 2020 election. Yeah, right. They are so petrified of losing. This is their look. They lose again in 2020. They're going to say, well, it's William Barr and Trump, and they have the audacity to talk about Biden's video where he brags about doing exactly what they think Trump did. But in this case, it's like there's no question that Biden used a quid pro quo arrangement and $1 billion as leverage to fire a prosecutor. But anyway, goes on to say what Mifsud did or didn't know about Clinton's emails is still murky. Well, again, then why was there ever an investigation? What Barr and Durham privy to is even less clear. Papadopoulos has distanced himself from the professor, tweeting just this week that he exposed Mifsud's connection to the Italian intelligence, even though Italians were watching him long before they parted ways. Yeah, but Papadopoulos was set up and framed, and now he's fighting back. I have a great deal of respect for George Papadopoulos and his wife. What they were able to do is unbelievable. What they were able to do is really, really unbelievable. To be able to endure, especially his wife gave him so much support, and it was just amazing. Because at that point, look, we all knew, and I was saying on this channel, one of the many things that I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I'm not right about everything. I'm human. I'm not right about everything. But I have the pulse of what's going on. And I said it was all nonsense. And I said he was being set up from the very beginning. And I said the Steele dossier was complete nonsense from the very beginning. From the very beginning, I said that Trump would, there's no way that they indict Trump, no way that they get Trump on anything. And that's what took place. Mifsud met Papadopoulos through, okay, so, at the end of the day, they're in Rome trying to find out, and a brilliant journalist, Elizabeth Voss, already broke this story in 2017. Mr. Papadopoulos should contact Elizabeth Voss. She was then with Disobedient Media. Mifsud had more ties to Western intelligence than he did Russian intelligence. This whole thing was a setup from the very beginning. Then you have Stefan Halper, who is an informant, placed within Trump's campaign. I mean, this was sloppy. This is a sloppy look. The government can be sloppy because they're a behemoth. You don't need to be good at what you do if you have endless resources. The whole thing was sloppy. This was a poorly written spy novel that Democrats look, and they won't be able, even now. I mean, you see the whole Ukraine thing, they're running out of steam. Before it was really, oh my God, the shoe's going to drop. He worked with Russia. Then it was, wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah, wah. What a letdown for them. And I said it would lead to nothing. The difference with Clinton getting away with what she did is that she actually committed crimes. Comey literally said she committed these crimes and that crimes and these crimes. Oh, but we're not going to indict. Why? Because, come on, no priest or prosecutor. What? And she didn't mean to do it. It's like, oh, okay. Well, guess what? Those 130 people that happen to be high-level officials or, officials at agencies where they can't really, email classified information outside of the United States government? Oh, yeah. They were actually doing that. Emailing Clinton, if you were at the State Department or any agency in the U.S. government, was the equivalent of emailing, somebody in an office someplace. It is the equivalent of emailing anyone on the planet outside of the United States government. Clinton's servers were outside of the United States government. The United States government had no access to those servers, neither did the State Department. Guess what? President Obama didn't even know those servers existed. Yeah, right, of course he did, but that's what he says. So now, unless 130 people have James Comey as their personal attorney, or James Comey unless Trump hires Comey back as FBI director, they all risk indictment. They all risk indictment. They're in legal trouble, let's put it that way. Because, Barr is slowly closing the vice with Durham. Barr has the Clinton email probe. Durham has, and just read, John Durham and William Barr and all of them should just read my Federalist articles. I pretty much, and my Daily Caller articles, but my Federalist articles, especially the one below in the pinned comment shared by Rush Limbaugh 2 days in a row on his show. I explain everything. And if I know, they know a lot more than me. And it's like they are privy to classified intelligence. It's just a matter of the intent. They're trying to find intent, and the intent is there. Unfortunately, with Republicans or with Trump, you have to have ironclad proof that something bad took place, that they were not fair, or they weren't, acting in good faith, which the intent is already there. William Barr knows what's going on. John Durham knows what's going on. They know John Durham's past in Boston. He knows how the government, rogue officials within the government utilize government authority. It would be the equivalent of a police officer or an undercover officer going into your house for no reason, trashing the place, and just doing so just because he doesn't like you, not because you've done anything wrong. And that's exactly what they did with Trump. So Barr went to Rome. To hear a secret tape from Joseph Mifsud, the deposition, all that. Look, he already knows, by the way, that Joseph Mifsud was interviewed in 2017. He already has seen the photos that Elizabeth Voss, when she was at Disobedient Media, put in her article. Those photos are with, I think there was one with Boris Johnson and Joseph Mifsud and a whole bunch of Western academics, and they were great. He was actually at the Capitol. He was in D.C. like in 2017. And this guy is not, the professor on Gilligan's Island has more contacts with the Kremlin than this guy. And the notion that you would, because Mifsud told Alexander Downer, he just simply said something, and then Downer's like, oh, he said this to me. That's why they investigate Trump for 3 years? Are you kidding? They used gossip from an ambassador that with ties to the Clinton Foundation, he raised tens of millions of dollars and took Australian taxpayer money as a gift to the Clinton Foundation. This is all documented. And so he's ties to the Clinton Foundation, and then you have a dossier purchased by Clinton, and just miraculously, Mueller doesn't know how Clinton purchased the dossier. He just doesn't know who Glenn Simpson is and Fusion GPS. I mean, who are they kidding? They're not, they can't, it's so overt. Now you have the media spin, you have the media, oh my goodness, the media blitz. It's all, Clinton is everywhere now. Do you even know what Warren is doing? Has she even spoken to a crowd more than like 30 people? Or Biden? Forget about an arena for Biden. He could, if it was a library book sale gets more people, I can tell you, than if what's he going to talk about? I fought Cocoa Puffs and Corn Flakes. And, that did him in, Frankenberry. And I told Wheaties. That turning into a reptile also on TV didn't help him. Then you have Warren with the DNA test. That's going to be very interesting. Could you imagine on a debate stage that happens? Could you imagine? Could you imagine, Kamala Harris brings it up, and then Warren's like, well, you know what? Tupac wasn't even around when you were in college. You lied about that. And then they just go back and forth. It's like, could you imagine the mayhem? All for the golden moo-moo. Anyway, all of this has been, who has told you this from the start? Nobody was saying this. Nobody in MSNBC. In fact, the entire media machine said, she said she wasn't running. I said that day, I'm like, no, they panned over her voice. This was media, this is a public relations tool, panning over someone's voice, and then the narrator speaking, and that's a ploy. She never said she's not running. It was the narrator, it was the interviewer that's for the first time ever. Hillary Clinton. And then you just hear wah, 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 and you don't hear anything other than, but I'm going to do the best I can. And so it's like, oh, she said it. She's not running. And by the way, She also said she survived Bosnian sniper fire and that she used servers for convenience. Why would anyone believe her? And also, like I've stated a million times in the Huffington Post and also in the Times of Israel, why would she not run? There is no... Bernie Sanders... After Bernie Sanders, he's like, oh, I cheated myself. Is that better? Oh, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? I bend over backwards. I'm like Cirque du Soleil here. What do you want? After Bernie, people know, like, I don't know what happened. Maybe there was like a spell or like some kind of, like he just was like, I'm going to fight the 1%. Okay, I love you, Hillary. Like, you really had to promote the Russia myth. You couldn't be like, look, whatever. Yeah, right. Yeah, Russia bought Facebook ads. Oh, I really believe that. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Putin wanted Facebook ads. Why? Because he got 20% of U.S. uranium from President Obama. That makes a lot of sense. And money, cash flowed to the Clinton Foundation, but they're afraid of Hillary. She was quiet as a church mouse on the Committee on Foreign Investment. Oh, but yeah, Putin was so scared. Oh, he was shivering in his boots. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. I believe that. I got a bridge to sell you if I believe that. Yeah. No, I don't think that the Russians stole the election. I was the one who was cheated. Now, do I like Trump? No. But I'm not going to go on with this Michigan story. Are you kidding? That's the Bernie that should have existed. Instead of, thank you, ma'am, may I have yet another? It's like, if you're not going to fight 1% billionaire CEOs, if you can't even fight Deborah Wasserman. Deborah. Oh. I'm going to miss your touch, Deborah. But I must go now. Anyway, where were we? The whole thing was nonsense. And they're back for more. And if you notice, like this, I think what I was trying to say originally was the Ukraine thing. It's like he had a conversation. Everyone's like, whatever. They're running on the fumes of a failed like hoax, and now they go to the Ukraine, and it actually points to Biden. So it's kind of funny here. Give me your thoughts below. They're now after Mifsud. And it's just hilarious. Give me your thoughts. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second. I have a sports channel too. Everyone, if you like sports, I'm waiting for it to get to at least a couple thousand subs. My H.A. Goodman's other channel is like over 10,000 subs in like a blink of an eye. I was very happy. And I understand people like sports. What? I like politics. But if you do like sports, I'm trying to build that channel. Let's get it to a couple thousand subs, then I'll put some content up there. All right, thank you.